Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Master RKO, and today we're bringing you another Smite What's the Difference, where we look at different items and their item tree and decide which is more viable and useful. Sometimes we find some are more better than others, sometimes we see they're more situational and they're kind of right down the middle. Now, I know in my last video I said we were going to talk about teleport, but instead, because of my last video with the God build, I thought we would look at another item because I don't think we talked about it too much and talked about too many situations. So today, as you can see in the video, we're actually going to talk about a defensive item instead of an active, and that is we're going to be looking at Breastplate of Valor as well as Mail of Renewal. Both of these are pretty good defensive items. One gives more protections and stuff, the other one gives more health and some other passives, but it seems like with the way that they've been pretty much put together, they need to be kind of looked at. Some of them are better for different situations, some of them are better for different gods, but we're going to look at a more in-depth look at some of these. So, first off, we're going to look at Breastplate of Valor. Now, looking at Breastplate of Valor, it gives you 300 mana, 75 physical protection, and 25% cooldown reduction. That is all it gets. Now, the only reason why Breastplate of Valor does have a little bit of a difference in it is because when putting it with a different item, which is what I'm using this as, it can be more viable than others. But for this video, we're not going to look at it as that, because you can immediately say, hey, this item is great with Transcendence, it's already good. But I'm not looking at it with Transcendence because not everyone builds Transcendence. Those people are a little bit dumb, but we're not going to get into that. So Breastplate alone only gives you 300 mana, 75 physical protection, and 25 cooldown reduction. So this is mainly going to be really a bruiser, a warrior. If you're wanting the extra reduction with some protection and mana, this is the item for you. You're going to build this pretty early. Other than that, I don't really see another reason to build this item. It's very one-sided based, whereas if one team has a different comp, you're never going to use it. So for this item, unless you're in solo lane, I don't really see you using this too much unless the team is overly physical and you need the extra mana and cooldown. The other side of things is Mail of Renewal. Now, Mail of Renewal gives you 40 physical protection, 300 health, and 15% cooldown reduction, but it does have a passive. You gain 20% of your maximum health and mana over the next 5 seconds when you kill or assist an enemy god or objective. So, yes, you are getting, we'll go ahead and look and talk about this. So, this item I personally see overall more viable. Yeah, you're not getting as much protection, but you are getting some, and you're getting almost half. Now, you are getting 300 extra health, which does help in keeping you more alive, and you're still getting pretty much a lot of cooldown reduction, which at this point, by the time you build this item, because this is more of a mid to late game item, you already have a lot of cooldown more than likely, so you don't need a bunch. The big thing about this, though, is the passive. The passive, when you kill somebody or assist somebody getting a kill or help with an objective, you get health and mana back. That is a big deal, especially if you're playing a warrior or a assassin or pretty much anyone who really needs that extra bit of health to keep them in the fight, especially in team fights. That's why this is more of a late game item. So going into comparing these, whereas you're basically choosing here, do you want health or mana? You're either going to get 300 mana or 300 health. Physical protection, you're getting 75. With Mail of Renewal, you're only getting 40. So, I mean, if you want early protection, you're going to go with Breastplate of Valor. If you're wanting late game extra protection, you're going to get Mail of Renewal. And 25% cooldown reduction is only for the early game, because at that point, because if you're building this really late, you probably already have enough and you're going to max out, and at that point, it's useless. And with Mail of Renewal, you're getting 15% cooldown, which isn't as much maxing out, and at that point, it's probably going to max you out. But the passive is the main difference here. If Breastplate had a passive, it would probably be a little bit better. But honestly, when you put the items side by side, Mail of Renewal is better than Breastplate of Valor. This is going to be the first what's the difference that we're going to decide more of a winner, on my opinion. Mail of Renewal is definitely more viable, and I think I use it more often than Breastplate of Valor. There's only one time that I've ever used Breastplate of Valor, and if you've watched my last video, you know why. But Mail of Renewal I've used on multiple occasions. I use it in solo Wukong. I use it if I'm on a god that I am in fights, but I tend to lose a lot of health, so I'll buy it just to keep it. An Aphrodite is very good with Mail of Renewal. She already has healing. Hercules is also really good with Mail of Renewal. Khepri can do really well with Mail of Renewal. So there's many different areas where you can use Mail of Renewal to use its passive, because as a support, you're going to be assisting all the time. If you're Aphrodite, you're always going to be assisting. And if you're a warrior and a big bruiser, you're either going to be assisting or killing, so you're going to be in that spot all the time. Put Mail of Renewal on a Bellona and use her lifesteal on her Scourge, you're going to be healing for days. So in this, I'm going to say Mail of Renewal is definitely better. Disclaimer, if you're building Transcendence and it's late game and you're ahead, build Breastplate of Valor. If you did not watch my last video, I will tell you why. Just to kind of get this out of the way, just to show you guys. So we're going to go ahead and look at Transcendence. We'll probably talk about this later, but we're going to look at Transcendence. So Transcendence is going to give you 35 physical power. It also gives you 300 mana, plus 6 MP5. But its passive is what we're going to talk about here. We're going to skip all over that, look at its passive only. You permanently gain 15 mana per stack, plus 5 stacks per god kill, and 1 stack per minion kill, up to 50 stacks. You additionally, 3% of your mana is converted into physical power. So you want as much mana as you possibly can get when you get Transcendence. So if you're building Transcendence, it's going to give you a lot. So what that does is, with that 300 mana, so whatever your mana thing is, towards late game, the reason why you're going to build Breastplate of Valor is because, like with Loki, as I was saying before, you might need that extra protection with the 75, because Loki is kind of squishy. That 300 mana is going to add on to your Transcendence stacks, and it's going to help you get more mana, and you're going to get even more power. That's the only time I would say I've used Breastplate of Valor, is when I'm using Loki, or maybe even Neath if I wanted defense. Usually I don't need it, because most of the time with Neath you're far enough ahead and you're staying far enough back. You don't need the extra defense, you have some escapes. With Loki you kind of need a little bit, but you'll also get the extra cooldown and the mana. So that's the only time I would really use Breastplate. But for now, we're going to decide the winner and say that Breastplate or Mail of Renewal is definitely more viable as of this meta. This may change, as Mail of Renewal I do believe is about to get nerfed. So this may change a little bit. I don't know if Breastplate's getting buffed or anything, but it may change and it may get nerfed. So, but I would still say Mail of Renewal would probably be better. So, sorry about the confusion in videos, since you guys are probably expecting teleport, which we'll probably do next time. But if you like this video, click that like button below. If you want to see a special item, a god build, or anything else, leave it in the comments. I would love to look over those. And also, if you want to see more of videos like this and want to get notified whenever I record next, please hit that subscribe button. As always, I'm Matt.